welcome back to the PWLC kitchen. So today we want to do a recipe for a bunless burger and then a take on fried mushrooms. So we're going to be using our Ninja indoor grill again. But again, if you do not have an indoor grill, you can always use your outdoor grill the same exact way. You can also use your oven, you can bake things, or if you have a cast iron skillet, you can do it on top of the stove and it'll produce pretty much the same effect. So we're starting with our beef patties. It's actually from a ranch in Dalhart. It's called Ribbon Wire Ranch. All right, and they've given us, these are some grass-fed but grain-finished organic beef patties. So local and also really high quality. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these patties, there's 3 of them per package. Okay, and what I'm gonna use to season them with today is going to be a garlic pepper sauce and then a Himalayan salt, a pink Himalayan salt specifically. Okay, yeah, we're back. I got my handy dandy gloves on so that I don't cross-contaminate. But again, we're gonna use a garlic pepper seasoning. We're just gonna sprinkle a nice dose of that over the top. Okay. If you had not previously, you should shake your bottle of garlic pepper. Okay. And then we'll do a little dusting of pink Himalayan salt. And this pink Himalayan salt is actually from the salt store here in Amarillo, if you're interested. Okay. And then we're gonna flip them to the other side. I like to do my burgers on both sides. It's really kind of up to you. They're gonna basically take in whatever flavor you give them. There we go. Okay. All right, and so what we're gonna do, we're gonna put those in the Ninja grill. We've got the thermometer that's going to automatically do our temperature. It's gonna cook them to well done because I don't do burgers otherwise. And then that's what you do. You just stick the thermometer in the side and then put it in the grill. All right, so you just take your patty with the thermometer, you pop it in there. It's gonna give it a nice little sear. And then you'll just stick the other ones in as well. Close the lid, and then it'll tell you when it's done based upon temperature. Okay, so while we are waiting for the burgers to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the mushrooms. So what we've got, we've just cut your mushrooms, you wash them, cut them in half. These were pretty big. And then we're gonna toss them with the avocado oil. If you watched our other cooking video when we did the kale chips, it's a similar idea here. So you just wanna kind of toss them in the olive oil, get every piece of the mushroom covered. Okay, I'm gonna do a little more. Very good. Okay, so we've got the mushrooms coated in the olive oil or avocado oil. And so now we're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Pink Himalayan salt again from the salt restaurant or store. And then we're also going to do just a fine black pepper. Okay. And then we're going to toss them again. That way you can get that salt on every piece of the mushroom, not just the tops. Okay, and these mushrooms specifically are like really soaking up the avocado oil, so I'm gonna even add a little bit more. Okay, that should do it. All right, so now we've got our mushrooms. They're doused in avocado oil, and we've also got our salt and pepper. I'm gonna set those aside. Okay, it looks like our burgers might be finished. I'm gonna check those really quick. All right, they're gonna need a little bit more time, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and flip them, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of the barbecue sauce for the final touch. All right, so flipping these burgers. Okay. All right, we're gonna put them in for maybe another 3 minutes or so. So we just added 3 minutes to the grill time. If you're at home, of course, you could just flip them and keep on cooking. The 3 minutes should do it, but we'll check here in just a minute. Okay, one other thing that we've done, we've gone ahead and just kind of created a plate. Since we're not doing a bun on our burger, it's important that you add a little bit something else to help keep you full. So we've got a little bit of spinach, we've got some avocado slices, we've got a white onion, and then some tomato as well. One thing that I really like to do with the tomato is just drizzle a little bit of that avocado oil on it as well. You can even sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper if you feel like you need it. But these will be our toppings for our burger. And then that barbecue sauce that I was talking about, this is the Primal Kitchen brand. So the reason we use this brand a lot here in the kitchen is it's going to be a low sugar option, and they don't use vegetable oils in any of their products. So if you go purchase just a regular barbecue sauce at the store, number one, it's going to be loaded in sugar. Barbecue sauce usually doesn't have vegetable oil, but I suppose it could. So we're mostly using this because it's a no sugar added option, but it still tastes really good. So I like to do that on top of the burgers just to give it a little more extra flavor, kind of a little bit of a kick. And so if you're the same, this would be a really good option. All right, so before they're done cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add this on top of the burgers. Just need a couple of drops on there, a couple of big drops. Okay. And then we'll close it back and let that finish. Okay, those burgers are ready, so we're going to pull them out after that 3 extra minutes that we gave them. They look very delicious. Okay. Okay, so there's our burger patties. You can see that they've got a nice coating of that sugar-free barbecue sauce on top, a little crispy around the edges. So now we'll go ahead and do our mushrooms. All right, so while we're waiting on the mushrooms, I'm gonna go ahead and dress the burger. So just gonna take this here. I like everything on mine. If you don't, of course, you don't have to have that. We'll do the spinach last, actually. Normally I'll do the tomato first. Okay. Do a little couple slices of onion. If you want bad breath, add a little extra. And again, like I said, I kind of like to drizzle just a little bit of the avocado oil over the onion and the tomato. There we go. Perfect. Okay, a couple of slices of avocado on there. And then you can top it with a little spinach. Okay. Another alternative that you could use, we just had spinach today, but if you wanted something to actually hold the burger instead of cutting into it with a knife and a fork, you could get just like a lettuce leaf of any kind basically, and then you could just wrap that around the burger, kind of like something to hold it with, and then that way you would have your bun, but it would be a lettuce bun instead. So we're ready to add in our mushrooms. So we're just going to take these. This is on the air fryer function. We've set it at 375. Toss those guys in there, and then just let the air fryer do its work. One suggestion I can make to you, a lot of times I hear people say, oh, it's really hard to cook for just 1 or 2 people, and I totally agree. And one of the hardest things is that you just end up having a lot of leftovers. So for example, we're making 3 burgers, we're gonna have some leftover of this, and this is like only half of the onion, it's not all the tomato, so there's leftovers of that. I would encourage you, always try to repurpose. So something that I will do is take my onion and my tomato, dice them up, and then throw a little bit of salt, a little bit of lime juice in there, and then you've essentially got a pico that you can use on top of chicken. You can use in a recipe like in a crock pot or something like that. Really good alternative. Spinach, you can always throw that in pretty much to any recipe, but you can definitely throw them into like a protein shake or something similar. And then the avocado, putting it with your eggs in the morning or using it leftover on your burgers, it'll still be good. One way to help it keep from browning is you could drizzle a little bit of the lime juice on top of it, and then try to put it in a sealed container to where it's not touching any air. So in maybe like a kind of like a vacuum sealed Ziploc bag, where you just take the Ziploc bag and squeeze as much of the air out of it as possible, because those are a couple of things that will cause avocados, apples, things like that to brown, is when they're touching the air. And so the lime juice helps to prevent that, as well as the Ziploc baggie. So those are just some suggestions if you're looking for what to do with the rest of this plate when you're finished. All right, so our mushrooms, I've just kind of been checking on them. They were a little bit bigger in size, and so you can't really like put a certain number on it, but for these mushrooms, we cooked them for right at about 5.5 minutes in the air fryer on 375. So we're gonna get a good look at what they've done. They look nice and golden. You can see some of the oil kind of popping out of them. That's what you wanna look for. Let's see, let's go ahead and get a couple of them out. That way you can see them here. Okay, all right, so that is our meal, okay? So we've got our protein from our burger patty, and again, we have a really high quality burger patty that we got from Ribbon Wire Ranch. We've got our lettuce, we've got our spinach, our tomato, our onion, our avocado. That avocado is gonna give us some really good healthy fats. It's also gonna give us a little bit of fiber in there. The other veggies, of course, will give us fiber, lots of vitamins and minerals in there as well. And then our mushrooms. So our mushrooms are gonna be additional fiber. Mushrooms can also have some good vitamin K, vitamin D in them. And so this is a really good, healthy, balanced meal, and I guarantee if you eat it, you're gonna feel full for quite a while. One thing to note, if you have had bariatric surgery, the mushrooms, they would be appropriate starting at week 5 after surgery. The hamburger patty would be appropriate starting week 3. So you could have that pretty soon afterwards. The veggies that are on top, other than the avocado, the other veggies you would have to wait until about 8 weeks out from surgery. Avocado, we're really good with you starting week 3 after surgery as long as it's not too much, it's not bothering you. And so this is kind of a mixed meal, but you could definitely pick and choose if you were trying to make this after surgery. So I'm gonna cut into it, that way you guys can kind of see, take a bite, make sure it tastes good, and we'll be on our way. All right, gonna cut into the burger first. This always happens when you have a bunless burger, but it's okay. You just add it to your fork later. And you guys probably know, if you've listened to our podcast, I'm a texture eater, so our burgers are gonna be well done. All right, I don't like red in my meat once it's cooked. And like I said, if you wanted to get a little bit of avocado on here, sometimes what I'll do if you're having a hard time, I'll just actually mush it on top. But you got a nice, good bite right there. It's actually a pretty big bite, so here we go. It's delicious. It's a great burger. The barbecue sauce on top is definitely a must. Okay, you gotta put that on there. And then let's go ahead and try the mushrooms. I'm gonna just try this really small bite right here. Really good flavor. So we really just did the Himalayan salt and the black pepper and the avocado oil, but they're really good. It's not a fried mushroom like you would typically get at a restaurant, but you definitely get a little bit of that crisp on the outside. And then the flavor with the avocado oil and the seasonings really brings it out. So this is a great meal. I hope you enjoy.